What's up? It's your boy Mr. P back in the kitchen. Today I'm going to make some stewed beef with some peas and rice and peas, whatever you want to call them. I'm going to show you how I'm going to make it. I want to thank everybody for coming checking me out. I know it's been a while, I've been busy, but I'm about to knock this out, hook y'all up with this recipe, and we're going to get started. Let's go. So the first thing we're going to do is we got the beef. So if you come a little closer. Get you some beef, man. Make sure you clean your beef. We're gonna get the beef prepared for the pot, and that's how we're gonna start this off. So the first thing you wanna do, you got your beef. I'm gonna take the beef, I'm gonna go ahead and add in some garlic. We got about a tablespoon of garlic. We're gonna add that in. Add that in there. Also, we're gonna add in some onions. Tablespoon of onions, we're gonna add that in on the meat. So what we're gonna do, I'm gonna go ahead and add this in, and then we're gonna add in some of this browning sauce. So we're gonna add that in there, get that nice and brown, and we're gonna let this marinate for an hour. If you can marinate this for, overnight. But for right now, this is what we're gonna do. Let this marinate. I'm gonna mix this up. And I'm gonna add also a little bit of my seasonings on here. So what is in the seasonings, we got pepper, salt, garlic, sunflower seed oil, well, dried sunflower seed oil. That's it. And I'm just gonna go ahead and just thoroughly blend this up real quick. And then once we blend this up, we're gonna let this sit for about an hour, a couple hours. Let this marinate. And like I said, if you can let this marinate overnight, that'd be even better. And then once we let this marinate for a little bit, we're gonna go ahead and come back and start adding it to the pot. We're gonna get the stew ready. All right, so we back. So now we're about to get this meat in the pot. So first thing we're gonna do is gonna add a tablespoon of grapeseed oil in this pot. Go ahead and add that in. Once that gets hot, we're gonna add in the meat, and we're gonna add in a little bit of onions. So once this gets hot, we're gonna go ahead and add in the meat. Add that in. Once you add that in, add in a little bit more onions. I'm gonna add in a little bit of ginger. And if you want to measure it, I'd say about a tablespoon of ginger. You can go ahead and add that in. Add that in, we're gonna let this stir this up, and let this cook for a little bit, for about 15-20 minutes, and be right back. All right, so next up, once we got the seasoning sealed in, this is why I do this. You can come a little closer. So, this is pretty much why I do it this way. You can do it however you choose to, but you want to just go ahead and seal in all those spices and herbs with the meat. So I do this prior to adding all my other ingredients. So this is just how I do it. But yeah, once you let this cook for about 20 minutes, you want to go ahead and add in some beef broth. If you don't have beef broth, you can go ahead and add in some water. So we're going to go ahead and add in this is just about, how much is this? 32 ounces. This is 32 ounces of broth. So you want to go ahead and add that in. You don't have to add any type of salt or anything like that because there's already salt in the browning sauce. So you want to go ahead and you're going to let this meat cook for about an hour until it's tender, and then we're going to add in all the vegetables and other herbs and spices. But for right now, this is what we're going to do. We're going to let this cook for an hour until it's tender. Okay, so I'm back. So while we're waiting on the beef to tenderize, we're going to go ahead and get started on our rice. So for our peas and rice, we're going to go ahead, or rice and peas. Our ingredients are going to be thyme, kosher salt, allspice. We have a cup of coconut milk, a cup of kidney beans, 2 cups of rice. And with the rice, you want to make sure you strain your rice, clean off all the starch while you're making this, because if you don't and you try to make the peas and rice, it's going to be very mushy and you don't want that. So make sure you strain your rice, clean all the starch off before you cook it. Also, kidney beans. These beans are already cooked, so we don't have to cook these beans. But with these beans, we're going to go ahead and add these in after we cook our rice. So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to go over to our pot. While it's boiling, we're going to go ahead and add in our rice. You can go ahead and add that in. We're going to let that cook. Add in a little bit of salt. It's about a teaspoon of salt. I don't really measure it, but go ahead and add that in and let that cook. Go ahead and add in some allspice. I'm going to add in some teaspoon of thyme. You're going to add that in. We're going to let this cook until the rice is ready. We'll be back. All right, so once we got our rice boiled and we got just that right amount of water in it, we're going to go ahead and add in our beans, kidney beans. Like I said, this doesn't take that long to cook, so because these are already cooked. So you want to add those in. Add in a little more thyme. A little bit of onions, about a tablespoon of onions. Add that in. Stir it up a little bit. We're going to go ahead and add in our coconut milk. We're going to let this cook for about 5 to 10 minutes. Like I said, our beans are already done, so we're going to go ahead and let this cook. And we'll be right back. Alright people, so once your beef is nice and tender, we want to go ahead and add in some more water. We got to add in our vegetables. So we're going to add in our water. And for right now, we're just probably going to use just a little more than 5 cups of water. It all depends on how many people you're serving to. So, but we're going to go ahead and add that in. And we have, using one hand right now, so we have a cup of celery, about a cup of carrots, and a cup of onions. And we're going to go ahead and add that in. Add that in our pot. Once we add that in, we're going to go ahead and add in our potatoes. So I got like a lot of potatoes here, but we're going to go ahead, like I said, it all depends on how many you're feeding, but I got about 5 cups of potatoes here. So we're going to go ahead and add that in. Then you want to stir this up. And then we're going to let this cook for another hour. And we're going to go ahead and add this. Stir that up. I'm going to go ahead and add in some tarragon. If you don't have tarragon, you know, try to get some. This is a good herb. Add that in. Go ahead and add in our special blend. Seasoning in. I don't really measure it, so but it's probably about a tablespoon. We just add that in. Then we're gonna go ahead and let this cook for about an hour. And then we're gonna come back, check on it again, and assess it from there. But that's pretty much it. This is an easy, quick stew, especially now that it's starting to get a little cooler outside. You know, something for the family to munch on. But we'll be right back and we'll check on this in a little bit. Also, I forgot to mention, I also want to add some ketchup. A good tablespoon of ketchup. Add that up in there. That ketchup will give it a nice good flavor. So I'm going to add that much. About a tablespoon. 2 tablespoons of ketchup. Like I said, it depends on how much you're making, how many you're serving. Stir that in. Then you want to go ahead and let this cook. And then when we come back, you know, we'll have a nice cooked stew served to your family or guests or whoever you're entertaining for the day. Be right back. All right. So the stew is done. We're gonna go ahead and plate this up with the rice and peas, or peas and rice, whatever you want to call it. And we're gonna go ahead and get this ready so we can eat it. You know what I'm saying? Get this in our bellies. But yeah, this is a nice quick meal to fix, especially now that it's getting cold and everything. So I'm gonna go ahead and plate this up. We got everything plated up. We got our stew beef stew, whatever you want to call it. I'm calling it stew beef with our peas and rice. Just a little slice of cornbread to go with it as well. But I want to thank everybody for coming out, checking out the video, checking out the channel. You know, if you like it, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and I'll be sure to come back with some more recipes in the coming weeks. Because like I said, I've just been a little busy, but I'm gonna take care of my community out there and just, you know, bless y'all with some more recipes in the future. All right, y'all take care, stay safe out in Corona land, and peace out.